There we go. First sign, New York City. We are in striking distance. Promised I'd restart the video once I got back onto the trail from my Danbury detour. Man, I think when I left this morning, I mistakenly chose the show me the hills routing option because it was 500 feet climbing in the first 3 miles. And as of this point, I've done over 1,100 feet and it's only 12 miles into the ride. So there were a lot of hills. If I survive today, you'll see more videos. All right, people, just pulled over a bit because I saw what looks like a little overlook spot up a slight trail here. So I figured, let's take a look. I found the Putnam County Trail very hilly, and especially it was an overall climb southbound coming out of the Brewster area. And I put on about 1,800 feet already at about 26 miles into the ride. Made it to the Residence Inn in Yonkers. That was a tough day. It was a lot of trailways, and it's kind of like this. Went up and up. I did about 2,300 feet of climbing in about 57 miles or so. So I'm definitely looking forward to being in here. I turned the AC down to 69 degrees so it could be nice and cool. It got up to like 81 today. But the Residence Inn in Yonkers, good stop right off the trail. There's like a half-mile climb that goes up about another 250 feet. There's another 250 feet, but today is Amtrak day back to the Atlanta area. One thing you can always count on, the hotel's gonna have a waffle machine. I'm not stopping with just a waffle. I'm gonna get some eggs and some breakfast to eat too. This is my final feast before I head to the train today. About a 20-mile day into New York City. It's gonna follow roughly the same path Kath and I took last year, but I'm gonna detour about mid-Manhattan and go through Central Park. Out of the Residence Inn, heading towards the route for today, and I discovered the first casualty of the trip. I can't find my chain lube. Went down that black hole of bike touring, lost to the annals of time, my friends. smooth asphalt on the trail is really nice and smooth rolling. But inevitably, when you plant next to trees, you're going to have roots that grow underneath the asphalt and heave it up. And then you hit them like a bad speedboat, like boom. And then when you hit a whole bunch at the same time, you're going maybe on a slight downhill at about 16, 17, 18 miles an hour. You hit a whole bunch of them like, you know, maybe that was the inspiration for the Trashman's surfing bird. Dum, 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 dum. No, these are the other kind of monoliths. These are the Van Cortlandt Park monoliths. They were built as tests for how well different types of granite weathered for Grand Central Station. And they were placed here to see how well they weathered. And they're still standing, so they weathered all right. There's the sign for Hudson River. So we're going to go left. Well, the sidewalk on the right side of the road is closed, but thankfully it looks like this one's open, so I have transportation across the river. Update on the Empire Trail as of October 2025. The southbound crossing side over the Hudson is closed, so you'll have to use the other side of the bridge, but no worries, you can get across. You just have to walk it. Last year when Kat and I rode through here, this trail was closed, so I'm hoping a year later it's open and we can head down a new section of the Empire Trail. And it is open. Woohoo! Here we go. Just passed into the single digits remaining on this particular adventure. So 9.9 to the train station in New York City. That acceleration was pointless. So 9.9 miles to the train station in New York City. It's almost like a castle. There's the George Washington Bridge. Check that out. I love this. This is so cool, moving within the urban infrastructure through a pedestrian cycling only path. The Little Red Lighthouse was originally used to warn boaters of a navigational hazard in the area. But once the George Washington Bridge was built, the boaters had enough lights that they knew where the navigational hazard was, so they didn't need the lighthouse anymore. So what did they do? They were going to tear it down, but several New Yorkers said, nay, nay, let's not do it, so they preserved it. Now people can come stop and see this as a landmark on the West Side Trailway and bike path. So pretty cool. There is New York City, the destination. Holy cow. Holy cow. That thing's wild. And it almost seems like it's pretty rural. It's quiet down here. Everything's all combined, it's stacked, crowded in and out of one another in the urban environment. Is this the quintessential New York view? Man, this is so cool. So no worries on that. There we go, Central Park, everybody. Alrighty. There's something I've never done. Ride my bike through Central Park. I think that was the building the Ghostbusters had to bust some ghosts in. You know, it's nice that this route is shut down to automobile traffic and reserved for runners, walkers, cyclists, skaters. Here's where the carriage rides take off. Going to Times Square on a bicycle. Is this nuts or what? Not going to worry about the intersection. I am going to ditch onto the sidewalk, walk it across to the final destination. So, new thing with Amtrak, you're not allowed to go into the first class lounge until 3 hours before your scheduled departure time. So that would be for a 2 o'clock. I would have an 11 a.m. So that's about 45 minutes from now. I've got some hummus and vegetables and pita chips, and I've got a diet root beer. I was able to check in 3 hours prior, so I'm ready to go. I'm here right at the baggage car. As soon as I get my bike in here, I can get into my room and then settle in for the 18-hour journey or something. Well, this is the last step of the big bike journey. It's in my little roomette on Amtrak. There's the what they call Trenton Makes Bridge. Back when Trenton was an industrial powerhouse, Trenton makes, the world takes. No longer. Everything's now China makes, the world takes. Hello there. Welcome to one of my favorite things about being in a roomette. It's the upper bunk. So the whole room goes to the top of the train, and it's pretty tall. So I'm here in the upper bunk. This bunk kind of lowered down, but here we are. You can see down there, that's the bottom of the train. There's my door. And I love being up here and just hanging out going to sleep, and it's super comfy.